He knows that I have been faithful to him.
Wow.
You just standing there, Mr. Wallace, like you don't have a piece of remorse in the world. Now,
Okay.
you don't?
No, ma'am.
You don't have any issues with cheating on your wife? You said you don't believe in cheating.
No, I don't.
Why are you doing it? When you met her, did you tell her you were married?
I forgot.
Forgot.
He's had a child with my relative.
What?
He's
Miss Heiser calls Mr. Omby a textbook deadbeat, and here's why.
He's never been there for Gabrielle since birth,
Stole time with
emotionally,
Rachel.
physically, financially, in every term a father should be. In the beginning, when I first met him, he seemed like a stand-up guy, a family man. Within the first year, we decided to get married. I had found out I was pregnant and told him. He was happy at first, told his friends and family. Within a few months, it started to deteriorate.
Mr. Omby defends himself with this shocking claim.
Another man had walked up on me and asked me what we were going to do about his child.
Referring to Gabby?
Yes, ma'am.
So a man walks up to you on the street and just says, I'm the father of your wife's baby.
Basically.
Did you ever ask your wife about this?
She basically blew me off.
Miss Heiser refutes this claim. However, Mr. Omby doesn't stop there as he reveals more shockers.
It's the biggest lie I've ever heard, Your Honor.
So it didn't happen?
He knows that I have been faithful to him.
Wow.
It's just
Wow.
another reason and all the more to try to deny Gabby and smear my name. Gabrielle is his daughter.
So you don't believe the guy ever came up to him and said anything?
I don't believe that ever happened.
Do you remember the day he came up to you and said, hey, this guy's on the street talking about what are we gonna do about this
I've
baby?
never heard of this at all, Your Honor, before today.
She keeps at least 3 men around.
You're the waste of time.
So, Miss
find out
Heiser,
soon.
at this point, he tells you, some man told me you pregnant. He says you blew him off, but you don't remember the conversation at all.
The conversation never happened.
Miss Heiser discloses what happened when she got pregnant, with Mr. Omby's reactions.
A pregnancy test was done. We had talked about it. I told him, and he was happy.
He was happy.
He didn't believe, even at the time, that he could have children himself. He always thought that he couldn't.
So this felt like a
I
miracle.
was 19. How could I believe I wasn't having children?
Well,
What
apparently
the-
not grown up enough, because you like your fiddle tails, don't you?
Yeah, okay, Miss 3 men.
Grow up, David.
All right. So you tell him you're pregnant and he's happy. Did he express any doubt at the time?
He didn't express any doubt until about 3-4 months down the line when we had our first argument. We didn't speak for a couple of months. Then he came back again, another argument, takes off again. That was his style. David don't face anything head on, including parenthood. He runs.
I'll face anything I need to if it's mine.
Okay, David. That's what we're here today for.
Proof's in the
So,
pudding. She got it.
Mr. Onby, you're saying that what Ms. Heiser said is not true?
Exactly, ma'am.
Miss Heiser also reveals what went down during the pregnancy, plus what Mr. Omby did during the time.
He wasn't there with me through most of the pregnancy.
What about when
friend
Gabby
of a
was
friend
born?
notified him the day that I had went into labor. He showed up halfway through the birth, drunk and full of grease. He stayed for 2 hours and left, and I didn't see him again for 2 more weeks until he showed up on my doorstep needing a place to stay and wanted to play daddy.
So, Mr. Onby, did you go back home after you came and saw
No,
Gabby
ma'am.
in the hospital?
No, ma'am.
What happened?
I was notified that she was in labor. I was drinking. Yeah, I shot down there and I watched her born. I wasn't signing the birth certificate because I already knew once you sign the birth certificate, you are the father, and I had doubts of me being the father due to the conversation me and this other guy had.
So you didn't sign the birth
No, ma'am.
certificate?
You're
but
a
you were-
liar. Yes, you did.
But you were married
Show
at
me
the time.
then. You can't.
They have a copy of the birth certificate,
Where's it
David.
at? Where's it at? Show me.
Judge Lauren shares the certificate the court obtained, proving Mr. Omby is the father of 19-year-old Miss Gabby.
Well, the court does have a copy of the
But
birth
you don't have my
certificate,
signature on it.
But your name is on it,
But not by a signature, Your Honor.
but you didn't sign it. But you have to understand, your name is clearly listed, Mr. Omby, because you were married to Ms. Heiser at the time. So under the law, you are the father. At that point, you disappear, and you admit that, you leave the hospital, you don't come back.
Exactly.
She says you come back to the house 2 weeks later. Did you come back to the house?
Ma'am.
You never came back to play daddy?
No, ma'am.
So when's the next time after this you see Miss Heiser or Gabby?
Tell you the truth, I really don't know.
Well, come on, now you're full of stories. Think of something good.
Miss Gabby expresses how the situation has been for her.
He was never really been in my life. My 5-year-old birthday party, he showed up to it for about 10 minutes and he left, told me he was going for a toy and didn't show back up with this toy and didn't see him for years later, So
he came to your 5th birthday for 10 minutes and told you, I'm gonna go get a toy. And never came back.
never came back, never
For
messaged
years?
me, never talked to me for years. I didn't see him for years.
Judge Lauren spills her concern regarding this case to the court.
What I'm concerned about at this very moment that everybody just seems to want to skip over, but we've had a moment in this courtroom for me that really was a light bulb that went on. Because consistently, you've not only been told, Gabby, that Mr. Omby is your biological father, another family member has consistently told you that the man in this picture is your biological father. So much so, you take this picture with him and you post and you put my daddy. There's real doubt in this story. There's real mystery here. And it's truly affected you for 19 years. How do you entertain all this as a young girl? When your family member is telling you someone else is your father, I don't blame you for putting my daddy up there. You don't know. This is confusing.
And the paternity case ends with this DNA test result reveal.
Mr. Onby, you are the father. I can see you truly shocked.
Yes, ma'am.
This has been going on for 19 years. Do you have something you'd like to say to your daughter?
You have no idea what I've been through with that woman.
Okay, and you have no idea what I've been through as 19 not having you there.
This paternity case starts all messy with Miss Reed's testimony.
Then one day I came in from the hospital from having my second child, and Rael's phone rang, and I just so happened to answer the phone. And Mrs. Austin, she said, I'm Rael's girlfriend. I said, Rael's girlfriend, did you know that Rael was engaged to me or whatever and just had a baby? She said, no. I packed my things and I left with my 2 kids at the time, and I went and stayed at my aunt's house. Rael called my aunt's house several times trying to apologize for what he had done. Later on, I accepted Rael's apology. So later on down the line, Rael, again, I walks in, sees him on the phone with Mrs. Austin again. He tells me he's trying to break up with her. The phone call was like 3 to 2 hours long. It doesn't take someone 2 or 3 hours to break up with someone.
Okay.
But I forgave him again, knowing it was wrong, and got back in the relationship with him.
You took him back again.
Yes.
Miss Austin expresses how she feels no remorse for being with a married man.
When I met Rael, they was not married. He nor told me that they was engaged neither. I found out on Facebook that Rael and Mrs. Reed was married when she posted a picture up there of their marriage life. That's when I found out. And yes, I did confront Rael about the marriage, but at the same token, Rael never came to me if Dominique was Miss Reed was taking care of home, right?
So what you're saying actually is that you didn't have any regret or remorse about it because you felt like if she was handling her business, he wouldn't be over talking to you.
Right.
As if this case couldn't get any messier, this happens.
Your Honor, how is he the father of her child when there was another man involved?
My ex-boyfriend, the ones who she go with down. I don't know if they go together.
Oh,
but
wait now. Say that again.
yes, the man that's the other person who they say that is my daughter Muriel's father is her man, then my ex, who that she is dating now.
Your Honor, I can explain that situation, Your Honor.
Oh, please do.
I did that out of revenge. At the time, Rael was cheating on me with her. So I noticed that Demiria was messaging a boy up on Facebook telling him how she missed him. So how about I get revenge on Rael and talk to her boyfriend? Yes, I did it to hurt Rael and I did it to hurt her. And so Rael can see it's not okay to cheat on someone and misuse them and tell them you love them, and that's not what you do to someone you love. You don't cheat on them and you don't misuse them. Period. That's what I did it for.
However, the mess takes another turn with these confessions from Mr. Wallace, the alleged baby father in question.
You married to Ms. Reed,
Yes.
but you were sleeping with Ms. Austin.
Yes.
You had a baby with Ms. Reed.
3, Your Honor.
3.
Correct.
You might have a baby with Ms. Austin.
Allegedly.
You busy. You just standing there, Mr. Wallace, like you don't have a piece of remorse in the world. Now, you don't?
No, ma'am.
You don't have any issues with cheating on your wife?
No, she not a victim.
She's not?
No.
Oh, fill us in.
First off, she wasn't a good wife. She rarely cooks, she doesn't clean.
Correction.
I cheated because I was bored in my marriage.
Oh.
I was too young to get married in the first place. I
So
only
why did you get married?
Because I felt like it was the right thing to do because I was being pressured and I had 3 kids with her.
Judge Lauren shares her thoughts on the situation, and the drama unfolds.
Everybody's laughing. But the scary thing is, there's children involved. I mean, you are people's parents. Mr. Wallace, you admit to being intimate with Ms. Austin.
Correct.
So do you believe her child is your child?
No, ma'am.
Why is that?
Because she has.
Don't you say no, boy, and she look just like you. She look just
she look
like
like
you.
the other
She got
guy.
everything. Everything on you, she got on that, everything.
She looked like the other guy who is currently her boyfriend.
Here's more drama.
I had sex with Rael first, and I used unprotected sex with Rael, and I used protected sex with the other boy. But
Your Honor, she's lying. The boy told me that he had unprotected sex with Demiria several times because he do not like to use protection.
So let me just ask off the fly. Who, baby, do you want it to be? Your husband?
No, Your Honor.
Or your boyfriend?
I'd rather
Then the DNA test result shows that
Mr. Wallace, you are her father.
told you, dummy. She looks just like you, dummy. Everything, dummy.
But it doesn't end there, as Judge Lauren has this to say, and another DNA test is ordered.
See, I get this situation. It's a lot of immaturity here. There are children here that need you all to grow up. Right now. You've made your choices. You all have chosen to bring children into this world. Now you need to live up to it. I want you all to get it together. Now, for you two, Ms. Roberts, Mr. Wallace, I am going to send you to DNA diagnostics today because I want to get down to the bottom of whether or not you, Mr. Wallace, are in fact her child's father. That would give you 2 5-month-old children. Court is adjourned. I will see you back in this courtroom with the DNA results.
In the next court hearing, Miss Roberts tells the court this juicy tidbit.
He did not tell me he was married. Miss Austin told me that he was married.
Oh, wait. What did you know about his relationship with Ms. Austin?
One day, she supposed to have snuck into his phone and sent us texting or whatever, so she called me.
Okay.
So when she called me, I'm like, hello. She said, hello. Did he tell you he had a girlfriend that we was in a relationship?
Mr. Wallace, as for Ms. Roberts, when you met her, did you tell her you were married?
I forgot.
Forgot.
How could you forget about a marriage? All because he ain't wear the ring, so he ain't care
You
that.
forgot you were married or forgot to tell her?
It just slipped my mind.
And after several messy disputes which aired the next episode, the DNA test result reveals.
You are the father.
I gotta go.
Mr. Wallace, how you feel?
Glad that he's my son, and I apologize for all the pain and suffering that I caused.
This paternity case starts heated as Miss Douglas admits she understands why Mr. Jones has doubts and narrates how she met him and his cousin.
Because I did make a mistake. I slept with his cousin, and the condom had broke. But before that, Tyrone was downstairs sleeping with my cousin. He was still having sex with his baby's mom. He was doing him basically, but yeah, I did.
That was a mouthful. You made a mistake and slept with his cousin.
Yeah.
But he was downstairs sleeping with your cousin?
Yes, and more. I don't cheat. I don't believe in cheating. I'm very faithful. But yes, he does him all the time. Yeah.
Wow. I want to find out how this relationship began. Before it got to sleeping with all the cousins, how did you meet? Was this relationship ever good?
It got good. I met Tyrone actually at a party that happened downstairs in my building. I met him and his cousin almost the same night. Me and Tyrone got together the first night we watched movies. The next night we did have sex, but we weren't together. We just had sex, and after that he went back to his other baby's mom.
She wraps up her testimony with this.
And I did, yes, I slept with his cousin, but we weren't together. So yeah, I slept with his cousin, but after that I found out I was pregnant. I called him and I told him I was pregnant. He was basically like, okay. So I'm like, okay. I just never brought it back to his attention because I had 3 other kids I took care of by myself anyway. So I'm practically mom and dad. So I didn't pay no attention that he really didn't care. But a week before I had my daughter, he was actually there. He signed a birth certificate, and after that, he was a good dad.
Mr. Jones gives his version of the story, which Miss Douglas reacts to.
Actually wasn't in a relationship at the time when she slept with my cousin, but she basically just denied doing it up until the point that's the reason we here now.
Okay. What did you feel, Mr. Jones, when you heard Ms. Douglas say, I'm pregnant and it's yours?
I wasn't too sure about it when she told me, but I'm like, okay, when she did tell me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna step up and do what I gotta do.
So you did try to support her through this?
Yeah, I actually did.
I'm looking at you, Ms. Douglas, and you saying I didn't feel supported.
No, not at all. And let's go back to the cousin part. Like, when I did sleep with his cousin, I was gonna deny the whole thing, but he actually went in my room and actually smelled the bed and actually said it smelled like his cousin.
His cousin's cologne?
Yes,
I hope.
But I was gonna deny it, but I was actually telling the truth. Yeah, his cousin was there, and he was just watching TV. So at first I was in denial, but I ended up telling him the truth, though.
Miss Douglas then makes some confessions that hint at a messy situation involving her, Mr. Jones, and his other baby mama.
The baby's born. And when the baby was 2, he went to Chicago with his other's baby mama. We were together then, and I'm pregnant with his son. He went to Chicago. We didn't hear from him for about 4 months. Didn't call, check up on his daughter, didn't call, check up on the pregnancy or nothing. How I knew he was in Chicago with his baby mama was she texted my phone like, oh, you're looking for your man? He's with me. You wonder why he's not calling your daughter? Because he's with me. That's how I knew he was in Chicago.
Were you with another one of your children's mother when you went to Chicago like she's saying?
And a lot
I
of
actually
people.
was. Because I was actually with my other baby's mom before I was actually with Alexandra.
Okay.
It's confusing. It's very confusing. But now we're supposed to be together. He still talks to other people and his baby's mom, and I'm not doing nothing.
Okay. As I read the statement this morning, I recall saying you had 5 children?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Judge Lauren couldn't pass on the opportunity to say this, leading to more shocking revelations.
Was your relationship ever committed? Was it ever an important thing to either one of you? Are we just making babies? Is it a baby factory? What is it?
After I had my daughter, it's like he was basically playing me. We weren't together, so I'm like, okay, anything you can do, I can do better. So, but after I had my son, that's when we actually started getting together. Like, I was being faithful to him. I thought he was being faithful to me, but it was nothing like that. I would get played. I would sit at home with the kids. He'd be in Chicago doing him. I want to be with him to death, but he can't stop talking to other people. He can't.
And some more.
But yesterday he was texting a girl on Facebook, writing a girl on Facebook. We supposed to be together. We're working on us for our kids, and you're writing somebody on Facebook? And now he's trying to say, well, now he said, I don't even know if I should get a DNA test for the twins because you had sex with somebody when you were pregnant with my twins. when I was pregnant with your twins. So how is that their baby?
She actually slept with that person last month. My twins is only
And he had
6
sex with
months
my
or 7
cousin
months.
before I had sex with his cousin last month. It's always
So
him that
wait
starts.
a minute now. You had sex with his cousin again last month?
And he had sex with my cousin again 3 months ago, before I did it.
Okay. You said you don't believe in cheating.
No, I don't.
Why are you doing it then?
When I cheat on him, it's with the same person because I want to get back. I'm not going to sit around and be played, like I said.
Then, Judge Lauren gives both parties legal advice, which can help with their kids.
What I do feel is necessary is to advise and encourage you both to attend family and parenting classes together. The court is concerned about your relationship to the extent that it affects the kids. So I am not quite certain you two really need to be together. It's just a lot going on and messy in the family. And I don't know how you all are gonna be a couple and then have to go to Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas and the cousins are there. I don't know how this is gonna work. However, it's not for this court to figure out. What I just need to help you figure out is whether or not you can parent together, whether or not you're in a relationship, okay?
After everything, the DNA test result reveals this, and here's how Miss Douglas and Mr. Jones react afterward.
Mr. Jones, you are not fine.
She knew this from the beginning. Now I'm embarrassed, gotta face public humiliation because she didn't want to be honest before we came here.
Your Honor, I didn't know. I didn't even know the
You
kind of
knew,
busted.
man.
I didn't
You
even know
knew.
the kind of busted. How would I know if he's not the father when we're sleeping together every day? How would I know?
She told me, nah, I don't have no doubts.
Because
This
I
is your
didn't.
daughter.
I didn't at all. My daughter acts just like him and looks just like him to me. Man, now my daughter ain't gonna have a dad.
No, she gonna have a daddy.
That's hurting me the most.
Mr. Brock explains the nature of his relationship with Miss Almanza.
We've been dealing with each other for like 11 years or whatever, but the foundation of our relationship wasn't based on, husband, wifey. This was somebody who I was messing with during the time I was basically ending a relationship.
Oh.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes. But
We want the truth. Proceed.
Well, basically, she laid up with somebody that was a mutual friend of ours, right? During that time, she ended up pregnant, and I ended
That
up.
was because we weren't in an exclusive relationship.
Oh, so friends are ball game when it's not exclusive? Okay.
Right.
Continue.
And then, technical difficulties, I ended up getting incarcerated. Well, during that time.
From technical difficulties?
Technical difficulties.
That's a new crime.
Right.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
Okay.
But before I was incarcerated, she told me that she was a certain amount of months pregnant or whatever.
He wraps up this explanation with what led to this paternity case.
Before I was incarcerated, she told me that she was a certain amount of months pregnant or whatever weeks or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, I agreed with it, whatever. But then when I got incarcerated, she had a doctor appointment, and the timing was off from the time she said she was pregnant.
Okay.
So.
Miss Almanza shares with the court what happened next.
He asked me, he didn't say anything or deny my daughter. He just asked why the timing was off, because it's gone by weeks. It's not gone by months, how he was counting.
So you say his calculation is the one that was off.
She then expresses how she feels regarding the paternity doubt.
Disgusts me because we're living together. We've been in a relationship. So, if I'm having these babies, I'm not having them by myself or with anybody else. And despite of all of that, he's still the one that's messing around.
Miss Almanza makes some shocking statements, which had Judge Lauren testifying about how messy the situation is.
You are obviously pregnant. And you just said he's still messing around?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. I'm pretty sure he
She refused DNA tests
is.
before, so it's like, it's not.
How do you know that, Ms. Almanza? How do you know that?
He's had a child with my relative. No, it's not.
Oh, Oh!
That happened during the time me and her, we had our little timeout.
So, wow, this is messy.
And the mess gets on another level.
You can see they look like him. I mean, look at my daughter's
I have
bubble
other
forehead.
children.
I don't have that.
I have other children also, so I'm also,
So tell me what else makes you doubtful about all these children. I mean, 11 years.
11 years, and he doubts me, but he's the one that I've caught with text messages, and I'm pretty sure females pick him up from my house because he walks around the corner when they get there.
Not blatantly in her face. I still.
You said not blatantly in her face, but you admit to doing it.
Right.
Why is that?
But,
I mean,
but to me, he tells me
I have
he doesn't.
9 other children, so it's like I don't.
What does that have to do with the 9 other children?
Luck be a lady, I guess.
But see, he doesn't tell me that these are females picking him up. He doesn't tell me when it comes to the text message.
Judge Lauren wasted no time in revealing the DNA test results as it concerns 3 kids. The first 2 test results reveal
Mr. Brock, you are her father.
That's what I need to hear. That's what I need to hear.
It's good to hear.
That's what I need to hear.
You needed to hear it.
He knew that.
All right, well, let's give him some more news he needs to hear, Jerome. Then I'll give him some news I think he needs to hear. As it relates to paternity for 2-year-old Giselle Brock. Mr. Brock, you are the father.
The last DNA test result reveals this, and Judge Lauren had a few words for Mr. Brock.
So in regards to paternity for Miss Almanza's unborn child, Mr. Brock, you are the father.
Okay.
Mr. Brock, now that it has been established that you are these children's father, I want to hear less quotes and phrases and sayings, and I want to see more action from you so that these children understand that their father loves them and that their father supports them and is there for them.
They know.
The case ends with a lie detector test Mr. Brock took, and the results show...
Have you had any type of sexual contact with anyone other than Ms. Almanza since you have been in a committed relationship? Mr. Brock, you said no. The lie detector determined that was a lie. Moving on.
Really?
Lastly, you admitted to having sexual contact with Ms. Almanza's family member in August 2012. The lie detector administrator asked if you have had any sexual contact with this person since then. Mr. Brock, you said no. The lie detector determined that was a lie.